What's going on, everybody? So, a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, I did a video on Breonna Taylor and the grand jury indictment, and I basically just gave my thoughts on the secret grand jury recordings, right? And I didn't really get a lot of people commenting on that video, but I got a few people who commented, and one of them was Bill Campbell, and he basically supports the police. And of course, I'm not against the police. I'm just against the killing of innocent black people. But Bill felt very strongly about his position and how the killing of Breonna Taylor was essentially her fault. I mean, he didn't come out and say that in so many words, but that from the things he said, that's kind of what I felt he was trying to say. So I asked whether or not anyone had information to, these allegations that, Breonna Taylor was a drug lord. Now, of course, I'm being sarcastic. Nobody has actually accused Breonna Taylor of being a drug lord, but I think I was watching a clip or a snippet of Candace Owens, and I mean, I really hate that lady. So she was saying essentially that Breonna Taylor deserves to be shot, right? She didn't come out and say those words exactly, but again, that's what I felt when I was watching her video. So I just asked, I just posted on my video, I said, does anyone have the actual link to this alleged evidence against Breonna Taylor? And then Jerry McGrath comes in, and then they basically provided a link to a website called yumpu.com. So I'm on this website. I have no idea whether or not this information is valid. I have no idea whether or not or where this information actually came from. I'm curious as to what people are actually saying, and I'm curious to see what's going to be in this alleged evidence. So I'm just going to read it, but I just want to throw a warning out there. I'm not familiar with this website. I have no idea if this is solid information or not. I'm just reading it word for word, right? So it appears to be a police report, an exclusive from TatumReport.com. But again, it's on the website called Yumpu.com. And so let's just go ahead and get into this thing, right? So it basically, let me blow it up a little bit here. I'm kind of disappointed that I couldn't actually download this thing as a PDF, but whatever. So on December 3rd, 2016, LMPD Homicide Unit learned that the vehicle their most recent victim, Fernandez Brown, was found in was a rental and had been rented by Breonna Taylor with the address of 3003 Springfield Drive, Louisville, Kentucky. At approximately 5:30 hours, Detective White Baker and Jay Speaks went to Mrs. Taylor's address to conduct an interview regarding any knowledge she may have had or may have that would be relevant to the homicide investigation. Upon contact with Mrs. Taylor, detectives observed a male in the apartment with her, identified as Jamarcus Glover. Miss Taylor stated that she did not know the victim and that she found out what had possibly happened from her boyfriend, Jamarcus Glover. Mrs. Taylor stated that she had been dating Jamarcus Glover for approximately 3 to 4 months and allowed him to drive her rental car. Mrs. Taylor provided detectives with the contact phone number and they redacted it. And it just has an kind of like in a bracket, a closed bracket, the same number that Jamarcus Glover provided on February 14, 2020, when he called LMPD First Division to file a complaint for his vehicle being towed, as well as the same phone number that is consistent with the history of jail calls between Jamarcus Glover and Mrs. Taylor. And then it goes on to say it is important to note that the homicide victim is the brother of Demarius Bowman, which is one of Jamarcus Glover's associates and has been arrested with Jamarcus Glover numerous of times. So the guy who's found dead in this car, this rental car, Fernandez Bowman, is the brother of Demarius, who I guess Jamarcus Glover runs with. And then on this page, let me blow this up a little bit. This page basically says that Breonna Taylor posted bond for Jamarcus Glover on 2 different pending cases. And second here. And basically, this looks like some type of bond report. He gives the case number, and this particular one is for Commonwealth versus Jamarcus Glover, and then it's a felony. And then here it says Breonna Taylor, which I believe they're just going to allege that it was her. She just changed her name up. That's what I believe they're going to allege. And again, in another case, on a separate case, and this particular case is a misdemeanor. And then here, her name can be seen, Breonna Taylor, right? So First Division executed simultaneous search warrants at 2424 Elliott Avenue, 2426 Elliott Avenue, and 2605 West Muhammad Ali Boulevard. Arrested Adrian Walker, Rayshawn Lee, Daryl Forrest, Jamarcus Glover, and then it says January 3rd, 2020, warrant of arrest served. And then it continues on to say Dominique Crenshaw, January 3rd, 2020, a warrant of arrest served. And then Cleve Knight Jr., January 11th, 2020, warrant of arrest served, and evidence seized: 5 handguns, 1 stolen, 3 long guns, 4.9 grams of crack cocaine, 14.4 grams of marijuana, 2 cell phones, and assorted drug paraphernalia and surveillance systems. So, all right. So I don't know. I'm a little torn with this because I did watch again. What's that? Candace Owens. I did watch her video, and she was saying that Breonna Taylor was a part of a drug ring, and I'm a little torn. I'm a little torn as to what to think because apparently, from this arrest warrant, they picked these guys up, and she could be correct. She could be correct. They picked these guys up, and they basically caught them with guns. I mean, everyone has a right to own a gun, but I'm assuming these were illegally procured guns, and they found crack cocaine, right? So the only thing that it's not really tying in thus far is the connection between Breonna Taylor and the rest of these groups. So what? She was dating a guy who was basically bad news. Who cares, right? We all know that women like bad guys. We know that, right? They're not going. Women generally don't go for nerds like myself. So this is not necessarily evidence that Breonna Taylor was a part of any of this. But I'm just going to continue reading. And again, I don't even know if this is a valid report. I can't confirm the source of this report. So, for the most part, this is all just fantasy right now, right? Now, if someone else wants to comment on this video and verify any of this information as legit, then I guess the community can have discussion from there. But for right now, I don't know the validity of this information, right? So then it just goes on. December 31st, 2019, the place-based investigation (PBI) team selected their first microcell location, with the perimeters being S24 Street, S28 Street, and West Broadway to Magazine Street, based on an increase in violent crime report in the area, aggravated assaults, and narcotics related offenses. PBI detectives started to gather. That's a really weird name for I guess, an investigation team. The place-based investigation. I'm pretty sure there's something I'm not catching on here, but anyway, PBI detectives started to gather research within the designated areas, such as calls for services, incident reports, narcotics related crime tips. A lot of the call volume and narcotics related crime tips led detectives to 2424 Elliott Avenue. Additionally, through physical surveillance, detectives observed that the vehicle and the foot traffic had picked up at 2424 Elliott. Now I'm getting confused here. What was Breonna Taylor's address? Breonna Taylor's address is 3003 Springfield Drive. I'll try to remember that. Then it goes on to say a venue within a couple of days of the First Division executing their search warrant. And then it goes on to say, let me blow this up. I'm having problems reading this. January 2nd, 2020, PBI team had LMPD technical unit install a pole camera at the intersection of S24th Street and Elliott Avenue facing west. Within an hour of the pole camera being installed, PBI detective witnessed approximately 15 to 20 vehicles go to and from 2424 Elliott Avenue for a short period of time, which is indicative of narcotics trafficking. That's kind of funny because no one seems to notice that they put this pole camera up, and I'm pretty sure I don't know how long it takes to put a camera up, but I don't know. Anyone with any common sense would have saw that this camera was up, and then they probably should have stopped what they were doing. So at 17:52:30 hours, PBI detectives observed a white 2016 Chevrolet Impala, and then it gives the license plate number. Pull up in front of 2424 Elliott Avenue, and Jamarius Glover exit the passenger side of the vehicle, booked on Terabyte Drive. The vehicle was registered to Breonna Taylor at 3003 Springfield Drive, Louisville, Kentucky.